We are recording, so as soon as it hits 7, we're good.
Okay. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. I call to order the Perry Township Board of Trustees work session agenda for October 27th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Ms. Binkin, will you take roll?
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn.
She's muted. One sec.
Sorry, hi, yes, here.
Hartshorn,
Here. Okay, so I guess the first couple of topics are mine, so I'll jump in here. The first one was reviewing the OTARMA risk management review findings. Can everyone see what's on the share right now? I can make the font bigger if you like, whatever works.
I think we've got some of them already done. That's what I was trying to look at.
Right.
And the
So
ones that we don't have done look easy enough to do.
there are, it's just, I don't think we've ever formally reviewed these and figured out for the ones that we don't have a disposition plan for those.
Right. So, like, number 5, obtain proof of insurance for personal vehicles used for township business. The only ones that use personal vehicles, well, I guess we do when we drive around looking at properties.
Right.
Should we potentially just everybody that's going to drive anywhere submit a copy of their insurance policy?
That's what I thought. You know, we do drive around the township. We do things in our own vehicles, and that makes perfect sense.
But that should be an easy, I don't know how to silence this. That should be an easy enough one to fix. Following all personnel policies is written, I would hope we do that.
Well, one of the findings there is that we adopted a harassment prevention and sexual harassment policy, but it's not reviewed annually with all trustees and employees. So
Right.
That's something that we have to figure out for everybody, us included, with the department heads.
Well, we should then conduct trainings, have one night where each
Right.
department sits and watches the video, or.
And honestly, it should be, I would say, probably within the first 2 weeks of the new year. That way, regardless of who's coming into office, who's leaving office, it's a standard that happens and it catches everybody and you're good for the year.
Missy, do you know, is there something like already existing for that? A video, a book, something?
As far as I know, I have never seen anything.
Okay.
Probably reach out to MCTA and I'm sure that if they don't have it, OTA does.
Okay.
Something that we can review. So I'll take that.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 6 was obtain motor vehicle records annually. I don't think we do this. Do we do this? I probably should ask, do we do this?
No, they're not obtained annually for all drivers of township vehicles. Drivers with poor driving records pose a possible liability. So maybe is that something Tim can just check, or is that public info? I've never really checked anyone's driving record.
There again, I would think that would be up to the department heads to gather that information and submit that to the trustees.
And that's probably what we need to do, is because we can put it on them to provide it to us.
You're right.
I'm sure if anyone's in question, it would have been on Facebook by now.
Touche. Mindy, you had brought up before the next one, offering hepatitis B vaccinations and a declination form.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but if it's something that they want our police department to do, we might check with the fire department, because I know I got my Hep B shots through the fire department
Right.
when they offered them to us. And then the declination form is just, I don't want it or I'm not going to do it.
Right. And the township's not liable for any risk incurred by them acquiring it, right? So, and I'm sure we can get with Chief on that and find out what the current policy is, because I'm pretty sure they have to have certain vaccinations as part of their standard
or
operating
have
procedure.
him check with Doug Jerome,
Mhm.
see how Brookville handles it, or I'm pretty sure, and I couldn't even tell you what year it was. I was still with Englewood when they made this a thing that all first responders had to have Hep B vaccinations.
Right.
And we could either get them at the firehouse, like the paramedics were allowed to administer it, or from our primary care people. But there had to be a record of it on file.
And maybe we need to check with Tim. Maybe he's already got something
Yeah.
in place on that. So
Right, exactly.
I'll go ahead and take that one and ask
Okay.
him.
Okay.
The next one, number 8, was update written job descriptions for each township employee position.
Yeah, we've started doing that. So.
We've started doing that. Honestly, I think this needs to be done for the trustee positions as well. I mean, we could start collecting bullet points and everything else and put those together and figure out what that would look like. I know when I came into office, there was nothing, right?
No.
So having something that someone can pick up and start at least getting acquainted with the ins and outs of the day-to-day in Perry Township as a trustee or as a fiscal officer would be very helpful. Not to mention the department heads as well.
Okay. We can work on that one together. In that Miami University program, they
Mhm.
actually have job descriptions for the trustees. So we might be able to incorporate something like that.
Right.
One of the classes I took, it had it. I'd have to look and see if I still got it in my notes. I do somewhere, but
And I
think
know
it's in
in
the
that,
book too.
in that board policy book, there is, I noticed the other day, there is a bunch of job descriptions, but that's from, like I said, 2001, I think. So
Mhm.
great. I think that's, and that might be the key word for this, is it just says update.
yes,
There's a lot of updating to go around.
yes.
Yeah.
So the next couple are, basically protective signs,
Flammable and no smoking. sign.
flammable, install barriers to protect the above ground storage tanks, improve labeling for storage tanks, remove
Yeah, that
gauges.
might be something that we can get Mike and his people to help or to do or something.
Right. Rhonda, did the maintenance, road and maintenance, do they get a copy of these findings?
I did not make copies. I can make a copy though and give to the road supervisor.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably best. That way, if he has any questions, he can come back with us. But if there's stuff, most of this that I think would apply to them is pretty straightforward. And if we need to have a conversation on any of it, just put the ball in his court to let us know.
So are we up to 14 yet? I have issues with 14.
We are at 14.
Okay. I read through this and this is kind of exactly why I abstained on the original vote. Is now our insurance company is telling us that the verbiage set forth by the fire department is not acceptable. And so I'm not sure how we can amend that and meet with this.
Well, I would recommend the start would be taking this page out of these findings and sending that to Sonia and saying, look, you know, because we haven't formally signed that yet, have we? Or did we? And then we just pushed it off. I think I'm a little confused there I thought that we were going to revisit it, sign it after the first of the year and then get it on the next election.
It is signed.
It is signed.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're
putting it on the levy on the next election, but that was all
right.
in that whole
Right.
agreement.
What are thoughts about getting with Sonia and I can't remember the other woman's name from New Lebanon and asking them about this modification to the language?
Yeah, amending it.
Yeah. Based on findings that we were given after we had already started the process and signed it. Does anyone think that would be a problem to at least have the conversation?
No, I think that I think it should be brought to their attention that this is what our insurance is saying.
Right. Okay. So Missy, you've mostly been dealing with Sonia and
Yeah.
What's the woman's name from New Lebanon? I can never keep.
Glenda Madden.
Glenda, thank you.
Yes. Jason, did you email this to me so I have it?
I did not, but I will.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that was it for that document.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really look at all the certificates or any of that other stuff. I didn't know who was supposed to fill that out or if we're supposed to do all the other stuff first, but
right.
I made copies of it.
So the next topic is continuity of operations. This is basically, I really wanted to circle back to the whole documenting the day-to-day business of the township. Job descriptions are part of it, but making sure that if, God forbid, something happens to anyone, that someone's able to pull a binder off a shelf and at least help facilitate the day-to-day operations of the township. I know we've started doing this with Miss Kaler's help with the stuff that she's responsible for. And part of this would be updating the job descriptions, as we said. But I wanted to at least ask that people start thinking about, no matter how big or how small, the stuff that we do day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, and start working to compile some of that so that we can at least build out a framework and maybe get an initial document that will evolve and grow as new information comes to light. Understand that a lot of the stuff that we're responsible for, sometimes we're aware, sometimes there's a little bit of a learning curve involved, especially if we have to go out and find stuff for ourselves. So I wanted to just have a brief conversation on this, see what the other trustees thought about extending our current efforts to document the core administrative day-to-day business into the other areas of the township.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really want to say we need to sit down, we need to crack this out. I just want it to be in our minds and maybe something once a month when we're doing our percentages, something that we look back at the past month. Was there anything that we should include to make sure that if one of us isn't doing it, because I think day to day through the month, we're all kind of autonomous, right? We come together for meetings and then we have different meetings and projects that we oversee, and we kind of operate together but apart, right? So there may be stuff that you guys are doing that I didn't even think of that
Kind of divide and conquer. though. I mean, I deal a lot with the people, the citizens, the concerns, the interaction with the community.
Mhm.
You deal a lot with the interaction with the county. It all comes to Missy, who deals a lot with everybody.
Right.
And then we hold the meetings where we all do this, and this is what we've done.
Right.
So we kind of have assumed divisions or roles amongst ourselves.
Okay.
So,
Just something I wanted to put out there for people to think about, and we can do it incrementally as we go. So,
Sounds good.
and I'm going to throw this next one over to Mindy because I put on the list because I wanted to make sure it was on the list, regardless of who submitted it.
well, yeah, you know how my week's been. So I have someone in mind, and I told Missy, and she kind of had that person in mind. I think if that was correct. Do you know who it was, Jason?
We never had the conversation.
Okay, so here's my thing. If that do we say it now? Do we surprise her? Do we?
I know when I did it before, I was never sent a paper for the nominations. I was just,
That's a new John thing.
yeah, Steve Wolf just called me and said, hey, pick a couple people, whoever you want to do it. So that's how I did it. And I had to call them and notify them because they were going to do, the dinner. And I
Mhm.
don't think we're having the dinner this year. I'm not sure what's going on there. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I don't know. I can fill out the thing and send it back.
If you want to fill it out and just put it in our drawer
And let you guys approve and
just see it, look it
Yeah.
over, see if there's anything to add to it, and then once we do, we'll put a post-it on it saying okay with our initials, and
Yeah, your
can
name.
take it
Yep.
from there.
we can, but we can have Karen send it or something.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right.
All righty. My turn. All right. So I met with Travis and Barbara from Beckett Berenice. I really liked what they had to say. We did discuss, let me find the thing. We discussed a couple things as to where they think they can find extra money for us, such as zip code taxes. So when we go and we get our driver's license, there is a surcharge that goes to wherever your mailing address is. Because we use 45309, the money from that surcharge goes to the city of Brookville.
Right.
That money should be coming to our township because we don't live within the city, we live in the township, and most townships don't realize that by using that they're missing out on this money. So anybody that's in the New Lebanon zip code, their money is potentially going to New Lebanon because the township has never filed for all that on our own. So it's little things like that. What they'll do is they present the proposal, and I just sent you guys copies of the contract.
It's up on the share.
Yeah, I wasn't happy. Okay, yeah, sorry. I wasn't happy with the initial verbiage that they had in the contract. So I had them amend it because the last paragraph said that the township will put up X number of dollars in reserve. I'm like, no, we're not committing to any money unless you give it to us first, then we give you your percent. So that's how they've rewritten, and I'm happy with this type, the way they've chosen to write it. I'm okay with that. There's also millages that they want to look at. There's something called an undivided local government fund, and there's real estate investment tax reductions. There's all kinds of stuff that Barbara knows. She was a township trustee at one point in time, Then she was a auditor of some sort. Anyway, she does this just for townships now because she knows where all the hidden pennies are. I think it would be more than worth our while to have them come speak with us in person, let you guys sit down, ask questions, or look at what their services are. And I'm a big fan of what they have to offer. I think if we have money out there that we're not getting, we need to find it.
And to be fair, I think both Mindy and I, Missy, I don't know if you met with them at OTA,
No, I did not.
but we both went up and talked to them at different points, and that was their sales pitch was, you don't pay us unless we find you money.
Okay.
And so that was a huge thing. I think it resonated with me and Mindy, because who couldn't use more money, right?
Right. And what,
I think Rhonda and Kate were standing there at one point in time. Did you guys speak with them also about their services or what they could offer?
Yeah, I did. Back to the zip code for the license plate though. We do receive some of that monthly revenue because of the motor vehicle license tax.
Oh,
And I
good.
know Sonia Keaton up at Brookville, she stays up on that quite a bit as well.
Okay. Well,
I
it
haven't
may be
spoke to
something
her
we are
recently.
getting. You know, I've never asked you. I don't know. There may be some that we are getting, but there may be some that we aren't. I mean, we know from the FEMA experience with the tornado that that was a big thing also, that, you know, Brookville got a lot that we potentially could have had. So, you know, I think it's just, if they've got something to offer and it's not going to cost us anything, would you think that might be something that you'd be willing to work with them on?
Are you speaking to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, you're the fiscal person, so it's really going to be you doing most of the working with them.
Yeah, that's fine.
what is the percentage that they
25%,
depend on how much we receive?
over a 4-year period.
Okay.
Or I guess during the 4 year. Oh yeah, there it is. Compensation. The township pays BVFA 25% received during the 4-year period from each separate and distinct revenue identification. So I do want some clarification on that. Is that, does that mean if we get a certain amount, if we get $100 from one fund, do we owe them 25 of that, and $100 from another fund, do we owe them 25 of that? Or does it become one lump payment? I think mathematically it works out the same in the long run, but it could be a nightmare for Rhonda if we have to nickel and dime every single one of them.
I myself would like to sit down or, have them come to one of the meetings and present this. So I'm just that type of person. I need someone in front of me.
Okay. Do we want to do it at one of the work sessions? Like, they'll Zoom. He has no problem. Travis and Barbara can get on Zoom. That's how we met, really.
Okay.
We can do that with our next work session, or we can set a separate time.
I don't have an issue with either one of them. Probably a Zoom or the work session would be better.
Yeah, I'm already angling for a demonstration during the Board of Trustees meeting for November.
Okay, so why don't I get with Travis and see if they'll join us for our next work session in November, the end of November.
Sounds good.
You think that's soon enough? Is that too far out? Or,
I don't think so.
okay.
And you said you sent that to us?
I emailed you a copy.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So just wanted to show that last page. I wasn't sure what was there.
Yeah, you know what, Rhonda, I didn't email you. I need to do that.
Okay. Was there anything else on this, Mindy?
Nope, just I'll get with Travis and we'll set up a time. Well, I'll have them present whatever they want at our next work session. Whatever that fourth Tuesday of November is.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Missy.
Okay, and what I have is, I don't know if you, I'm sure you guys got the Ohio Township book. I was just flipping through it and I saw the article on the next generation of the Ohio checkbook. And I know that Brookville and those use that, and I didn't know what you guys' feelings were or if you even read it.
Is that in the one that, which,
September, October.
was that the article towards the front?
Yeah. And it just makes it, it's just more transparent. People can get on and look and all that. And there's no cost to the local governments wishing to come on, to take it out or anything like that. I just think it's something that we should maybe look at.
Yeah, I glanced over it. I think it's a good idea. The more transparency we have, the better.
Okay.
The township has accepted the Ohio checkbook. I don't know what year it was. It does need updated with some past years, so I'll get with Marcy with the Ohio Treasurer's Office and get all the years updated.
So we already have it.
Yes.
We're just not using it.
I don't use it because I have all my records here in my file cabinet. It's easier for me to pull them out than log on to Ohio checkbook. But for residents or anyone that wants to view, that's convenient for them.
Well, now that we have the web page, we can link it to that too.
Yep. And that was something I wasn't aware of that we had. So, okay. And my next thing was the same thing in the book. They also talked about old-fashioned burials, and that was a very interesting article. And basically, the gist I got from it was for indigent people, and I don't know if you guys read it or not, where you can, and they were talking about COVID. Where there may be a lot more people with indigent deaths, but if we do something like this, you can just bury them there's no casket, there's no vault, there's nothing like that. It's called a natural, it's not a green, it's called a natural death or burial. So that's something I need to get with Mike and talk to him about what his feelings on that are. But they don't, I didn't know how y'all felt about that.
I know there's a field in Montgomery County, and I think it's called Potter's Field or something like that, where that's what they do.
Yeah.
We have a Potter's Field. We have a Potter's Field at Pleasant Hill. And usually for indigents, we do cremations.
Yes. But this would be a lot cheaper. You wouldn't have to pay for them to be cremated. You wouldn't have to pay for them to be embalmed. They just bring the body out and they put it in there. So I was just looking down the road, because I know in my time that I've been here, I think there's either been 2 or 3 that there was a possibility. We never got that far. Family ended up claiming the bodies. So, but I know that we have done that in the past. But I just thought that was something to look into.
So natural burials don't need to follow the green burial guidelines?
According to this, there is no bylaws or anything required vaults or grave liners. Those can,
But
so
they
I
have
can,
to have a casket or a box of some kind, right?
huh? No casket. You
What are
just,
the EPA implications of that? Can you just bury a body? Do we have to have a certain soil content or designation or?
The way I'm reading it, no. I mean, like I said, I can sit down with Mike and go over this, but just by reading this, a natural burial without embalming, casket, or vault makes sense financially for townships and for families. Offering natural burial options to residents makes sense. Also makes sense environmental because we do not need to be filling our cemetery undergrounds with chemicals, wood products, and concrete. Natural burial options provide a win-win situation for townships and their residents.
Somebody wants to reach out on 35 out in Preble County. I don't recall the name of the cemetery there. And when I was looking into green burials, even contacting the state of Ohio and trying to find out information, someone directed me to him, and he presented a lot more information than anywhere else that I received. And that's out there on 35 in Preble County. I don't know, Memorial Gardens, maybe. I'm not for sure the name. He might have some idea because they do have green burials. So maybe he would have a little bit more information to answer our questions on the natural burials.
Yeah, it says right here, natural burials versus green burials. While natural and green burials are an alternate to their traditional burial, there are actually two different types of burial options. Why a natural burial can occur within a traditional cemetery, a green burial requires a special cemetery. Natural burials strictly refer to the actual burial process. This means the opening and closing of the grave, the preparation of the remains, and the laying of those remains in the burial plot. Green burial refers to the process in the cemetery in which the burial takes place. A green burial favors the use of natural methods of preserving the body between the time of death and the funeral or memorial service. And if a container is used, it is crafted from natural biodegradable material. A green cemetery uses no artificial pesticides, and none of the bodies buried in a green cemetery can have been embalmed or buried in a traditional casket. Just something, I was just reading it and I thought, it's just something worth it because I think things are starting to change and this might be something that somebody might be interested in. So if we have that information.
Well, just a kind of a quick interjection. All Jewish burials are green burials. So I can get information on that. I can call our local cemetery or get with my rabbi and ask any details that we might need to know.
Okay. And I can reach out to this, and it also said, you should probably speak to your legal counsel to ensure that your policies and bylaws comply with Ohio law. So that's something I can check with Nathaniel on too.
Yeah, because they're all, green and palm, and we have caskets though. But other than that, they're all just pine boxes. They have to be able to deteriorate and biodegrade. So
right. I just thought it was an interesting thing because I know this has come up in the past, and we did talk about green burials, but there is a difference between that. And according to this, with natural and green, there it isn't. So, and that's all I got.
I'm intrigued.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, well, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn.
Yes.
Guys, tomorrow morning at 9.
Yes, I'll see you all there.
At the building tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. See you in the morning.
Okay, have a nice or a good evening.